Just a reminder that at some point I will be sharing this video openly with the world next year, next Gregorian year. So for now, it's just gonna be us. And so this is the third year I'm doing this reading in English. I've been doing this reading in Spanish for, I don't know, I think it's 5 or 6 years now. It's gonna be, I think, the fifth year because I began with the storm, the lunar storm year. So that's, yeah, this is the fifth year that I'm going to do the energetic readout. And for some reason, I have been receiving information. Obviously, we do the Galactic Mayan readout as we usually do, knowing the archetypes from the dream spell. But I also have been receiving a lot of information that is more related to mythology and that can help us navigate these times. And I have been going through a very, very difficult period of couple of years, a lot of renewing, a dark night of the soul, which many of us are going through. We're going through a lot of healing, a lot of letting go of the past so that we can make way for the new. And this galactic Mayan year is going to be precisely talking to us about it. It's going to be a deep transformational year. And that's the topic for today's energetic readout. And so I'm coming back to life little by little, reconnecting with this wisdom. And for those of you who already work with the dream spell and all the way up to like passing through Telectonon and going through Synchronotron, you realize that the system that Jose Arguelles has left us is a system that is so alive and so connected and evolving, and we're understanding it so much better through the practice. And so things are starting to weave along to show like a greater point of view about the moment that we are living, this evolutionary moment that has been prophesied for so many years now. And so I've realized that there's a lot of people that are sharing information that is not exactly accurate or it's incomplete. And the thing is, this is such a rich and vast system of knowledge connecting with synchronicity that there is a way, I feel, and that's the work that I've been trying to do through Mexxicamelot, to make it easier to understand and to make it more practical. So there's many, many things coming together. If you look at Mexxicamelot's channel, and I would suggest you do, there are many videos that are talking about Avalon and Camelot and the Arthuriad, which are so related to some of the things we're going to talk today, because there is an archetype that is present in this year's energy, the year that's coming. And it has been also present in previous years. And you see, I'm not sure if I posted last year's reading in English. If not, I will do that in the next coming days. At least the one from 2 years ago, from the self-dread self-existing moon, it's up there. So I would suggest you check it out. And if by any chance you know a little bit of Spanish, there's more information in Spanish that I have been sharing before. And you will see that there seem to be many different topics happening at once. But I think that what Arguelles' method is trying to make us notice is that there is a quantum field and there's a way to connect to it so that we can direct not our fate. We're moving from the level of fate to the level of destiny. And this is something that I talk a lot about with my teacher, Mike Weiss from Circle of Avalon. So there's a connection, and that's what I've realized. There's a connection between the law of time, which is this system of knowledge, and Kabbalah and quantum physics and mythologies, many, many different mythologies. The ones that were very present last year, but it didn't really land completely. It's incomplete. I have to do that work. Has to do also with the Mayan, but also with the Aztec deities of precisely rain, which is going to be a big topic for us today. There's Chak and there's Tlaloc, but that's the masculine receiving the feminine. So I have a lot of work to do now in terms of bringing it all together and giving it structure and be presenting more of this information. But for now, it's hard to condense the work of so many authors and so many diverse traditions into like just a little bit of a thing. So I'm gonna do my best to present to you today what I found, and it's really interesting because I received the information for the readout just a couple of days before, a week before, like just a few days before the new year. But this year, I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and really like things started dawning on me last night, basically. I had the basic information, but there's more that is coming through. And I think it has to do with the energy of the year, but you will understand a little bit more of what I'm saying as we go along in this presentation. So let us begin. If you have any questions, please, if you could leave them for the end. Um, you can type them in the chat as well for those of us who are connected right now. And I'm so grateful for you who are here. Some people are going to be connecting from other countries as well, or they have other things to do. So it's a bit difficult, like because we're in different parts of the world to connect together. But nonetheless, if you have any questions, if you have access to the recording, please contact me and I will try to expand your questions as much as I can to make it more fun and worthwhile. And it's important that we have this communication um, about what are we feeling, what are we sensing, especially with the past few weeks and months. The past few days have been so crazy. And it's important also to be looking at the astrological happenings because it's so connected to the galactic Mayan and it's all very synchronic. So what is the topic for today's presentation or this year? This is what came to me, no? Because we're talking about the solar ring of the blue rhythmic storm. And I will explain what does that mean because we have some people here who are relatively new or very new to the galactic Mayan. So I'm going to spell it out for you. And if you already know about it, then you will understand what I'm talking about. So the topic or the theme that I received that was going to be prevalent for this year is called balancing the most profound transformation. Balancing because of the rhythmic tone, as you can see here, if you put it upside down, it's like you're balancing things. And then obviously the storm refers to transformation and energy that comes with water, and it comes with lightning, and it comes with wind. So it's a very powerful transformation that nature grants us. And as I've told you before many times when we're in synchronotron or in many videos, in many occasions, I always ask you, what kind of storm do you want to come into your life? Because there's two kinds of storms. One that will come and make everything green, which is happening in many of our countries right now. And we're so grateful for the rain after such a long time that there was no water. So we're so happy to have the rain and it can bring life again. Or we can have the kind of storm that will devastate everything like a hurricane. But that is also a very, very powerful, necessary energy to happen. One might think like, why are there certain regions of the world so struck by hurricanes? And if you notice, there's a lot of misalignment of energies. There's an abuse of energies in those places. So I'm not gonna go more into depth with that. I'm just gonna, this is like homework for you and just like food for thought that this transformation, you can direct it either because we might need the hurricane to just come and destroy everything, or we might need just the storm that will help us bring back life to our projects and to our dreams and our visions. So this is the topic for this year's energy, no? And before we begin, I'm going to do a very short prayer of the 7 galactic directions. So if you know how to do this prayer, you know that we connect with the 4 directions, but also we connect with the heart of the earth, and we connect to our ancestors, and we connect to the heavens, and also to our hearts. And this was a prayer that was inspired by spirit to Jose Argüelles. So we honor him. You can visualize, because obviously doing this like in online is a bit hard, but we can visualize looking at each one of the directions and just connecting. And surely there are videos on YouTube that you can check out with the meditation or the prayer. So I'm just going to be reciting it, taking a couple of moments for each one of the directions so that we can connect. So if you want, let's just take a moment and connect with our hearts. Take a deep breath. The breath being the wind, the spirit connecting into our flesh. Taking a moment to connect with the here and now. Opening up ourselves to spirit and to the information we are about to receive today. And so we begin our prayer of the 7 galactic directions. First, facing the east. And we say, from the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. Taking a moment to thank the spirits of the east, connect to that direction. And now we face the north and we say, from the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. Connecting to the energies of the north, being grateful for this moment, this here and now. And now we face the west and we say, from the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. Connecting with our hearts to the west with gratitude and love. And now we face the south and we say, from the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. Connecting with the south. So much gratitude in our hearts. And now we imagine that we are putting our hands up to the heavens and we say, from above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. We feel their love and their joy for this connection with so much gratitude. Now we imagine that we're connecting to the earth, feet and hands on the earth. And we say, from below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. Take a deep breath. And feel our heart beating with the heart, the crystal heart of the earth as one, with gratitude and love, for she is our mother and she is holding us and giving us love. And now we connect with our hearts and we say, from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as a light of mutual love. Ayun, Punavku, Eva Maya, Emma Ho. Ayun, Punavku, Eva Maya, Emma Ho. Ayun, Punavku, Eva Maya, Emma Ho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. We take a moment to breathe in all the energies from the 7 galactic directions pouring them in our hearts, being grateful for this here and now, for this connection, for this openness to receive today's message. And we will continue now with a little bit more of connection before we begin our readout. So I will share with you this oath of chivalry that I have integrated into Mexxicamelot's work, and that comes from Circle of Avalon. And it says, "There is no more parting of the ways, the many have become the one. I am but the part of one whole, for alone I am nothing. Together with the one, I am all things. I remain immovable in that place destined for me. I am part of the great symmetry. I am responsible for the whole as it is for me. We are brothers, we are sisters, we are one. If I am cast down, they shall lift me up. If one shall go against them, I will be their shield. I shall travel towards the light and not be afraid. In the darkness I shall be comforted. I will rest in the sanctuary of light." And that's the purpose of Mexxicamelot, all coming together with a round table and sitting down as one, sharing our quest in a common ground of time is art and love and respect. Now I am sharing with you another meditation vow by Argüelles, by Balum Botan, which is called No Genesis Meditation Vow, and it says, "A powerful vow to remind us of our unity and reactivate our shared star mission," which is what we're doing right now. "We who take this vow are the nameless ones, sent here from afar on other world systems. The time has come for us to fulfill the ancient pledge we took to be as one. In the enactment of our sacred duty, one breath are we to become, one life, one sacred bond, in order to lift up this earth into its memory among the stars. No Genesis is the name of our assignment. Only by the nameless ones can this assignment be completed. One breath, one life, one sacred bond. No Genesis. The vow to be fulfilled, we take this vow in meditation, that all beings may be freed, a new world be born, and the rainbow be the light of consciousness, guiding us all into the infinite one." So we are here because we want to make the world a better place, and we can only do that together in our diversity. And to close our prayer moment, I am sharing this one, which I call A Prayer for the Awakening, also written by Balum Botan, José Argüelles. Just this beautiful prayer to say thank you and to connect. And it says, "I offer praise to this day, as sacred and holy as every other day, and like every other day, the center through which the universe threads itself anew. And I pray that the goodness accumulated by beings everywhere might continue to gather, and that soon, even this very day, the floodgates of this universal goodness might burst upon this world. I pray that my eyes and all of my senses might open even wider to the wizardry of everyday earth, the dewdrop sheen of rainbow light unnoticed on the drooping leaf. And I pray that the magic that dissolves the multiple appearances of things into a luminous oneness might burst like a flame in the deepest, most broken recesses of my heart, releasing a song of unutterable joy. I pray that in the presence of all worldly things, I might stand nameless, a child of illusion, so that in all things the circle of perfection might reveal itself as a mirror of all-conquering emptiness. And most fervently I pray that the great magicians, Merlin entombed in the Hawthorne Tower, Pakal Botan sealed in the ninth vault of the Holy Night, with their train of harmonic sorcerers, might suddenly return, appearing at first from Earth's resonant core, as vibrating filaments of crystal light, phantoms spread upon civilization's dark and crumbling wall. And I pray that from that ghost-lit manifestation, beheld by innocence as truth itself, the sorcerer powers might spread like angel flame through warrior hearts, causing all of those lords and ladies of the cosmic core to awaken again to their power in time, to bless this planet with the awesome splendor of their tender mind. May it be so that we wake up and we remember, and we are coming here together to remember about the truth of time, which is that time is art, and the time gives us a synchronic language to connect to creation and become co-creators. So after doing this series of prayers and connection, now we begin our journey. Now, I will be talking to you a little bit about background, like how do we get here? How did we come to talk about this galactic Mayan year that is going to begin very shortly? And so, as I told you, I began talking about like doing these readouts online at least since the year 2020. And what happened is that this year, as you can see, it's the same field that this year, which is a storm, and the lunar tone means challenge. I will be talking a little bit more about it very shortly. So we are going to be threading the connection in time because it's interesting, no? When I was doing these readouts, I felt that like I had an idea of how things were unfolding, but it wasn't really so. Like we had expectations, so to speak, especially for the closing of the cycle. And so Arguelles gave us all of this information about the year 2012, like all the Mayan things that were talked about, the end of time, and that it was so prevalent. There were even some movies made about it, no? If you remember. And so what Arguelles was actually telling us is that we were closing a cycle of around 26,000 years, and we're entering a new time cycle. And in order to do that, we would have to remember natural time. And this is where the prophecies of the King Pakal come in. He left in stone a lot of information saying that we would forget about natural time. That's what this means, natural time amnesia. We would forget about it. So he would leave traces in the rocks, in stone, so that even though like this new civilization coming from the Europes, as we call them in Spanish, las Europas, coming from Europe, that they couldn't be destroyed, and actually nature preserved everything. And then when we rediscovered that, it was there. And also, if you read about the whole of Arguelles' story, he is like Pakal from the past, like into the future. No, he's like a fractal of Pakal, and that is why he brought forth all of this information and decoded it for us. And the beautiful thing about the Galactic Mayan is that we can, we are a part of it, and we can continue expanding this information. And those who have been working with me for the past couple of years, they know that you guys, you're doing work to expand this knowledge and this information, and it's so, so important. So back then, that year, I was talking about the example that I gave of the energies for that year was also, if you look at the movie, The Never-Ending Story, it's like there's this little boy who's reading a story and he's part of that story. And this is what's happening with us. We are part of the story, this magical story, and then nothing is coming to like make us forget to dream, make us forget to make wishes, make us forget to connect to nature and become co-creators. So we were forced, during this year, we were forced to be like in front of the mirror, as Atreyu was in front of the mirror, and realize we are more than what we think we are, and remember our true selves. And that was a challenge for the transformation. And so I was also talking a little bit about the connection to the quantum field. and the importance of remembering that time is art and how we are connecting to that. And if you notice what has been happening in the past couple of days in terms of technology, and I will come back to that at the end of the presentation. I mean, nature wasn't even bothered, no? It's us humans who are suffering, who are challenged by the times where we're so dependent on technology and it fails. And but nature doesn't care. Nature goes on. So we need to remember to go back to that. And this is also very important because many people, and I've been into this movement, like I was 17 when I started connecting to the Galactic Mayan. I'm 45 now. So I've been around for a while, even though I haven't been as active as other people like continuously, but I've been around and I've seen it grow and develop, this movement. And I can tell you, some people were like, no, we have to leave everything behind, no money, no. The idea is we need to learn how to put one foot in time is money, because the world is still very much into that energy and we're still in it. But we have to have the other foot in the 1320 frequency in time is art, connecting to nature and seeing not money as the enemy, but rather it's a tool for abundance. And abundance is all over the place in nature. So it doesn't go against nature. We just need to direct it. So kind of like what Jesus would say, like, I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. So learn to navigate both frequencies. And the beauty of the Galactic Mayan is that we are learning to live radial time. We're not living linear time. So we can do that. We can just, it's like going into the matrix and getting out of it. And we can be in both. And we know what the reality is. So that's what we're being reminded of. And that's what was being activated in this year. Like, there's going to be a challenge for transformation because you have to remember, come in front of the mirror and remember who you truly are beyond your name and your face and your nationality and whatever else, that we are taking form and shape here in this incarnation. So this is part of the background. And then also in this year, which was 1 year later, this was 2020, 2020, 2021. So this was 2022. I don't know why I forgot to put the name of the year. That was the yellow electric seed. And so the topics for those year was what was expected from the closing of the cycle. And I talked a little bit, and you can check out, there's a bit of this information in the next year's video. I talked a little bit about what is the dream spell, which is something that we agree upon as a collective, and we leave that. And I also talked about accessing the multiverse and the theft of time, which is the moment when we are brought into the frequency of time is money instead of time is art. And obviously talking about the multiverse is how do I connect to the best timeline, because things like the earth is separating itself from the 3D up to the 4 and the 5D. So are we going to stay stuck in timelines that are not so beneficial for us, or are we going to choose where we're going to move in the quantum field? But in order to do that, you need to let go of everything you don't need anymore. And that means letting go of your stories, letting go of your traumas, letting go of so much, so much. And I also talked here about the round table and the grail, which is also a topic that was continuing in the next year. So you can see a little bit of that information in the video for the next year. And in this wave spell, this is the wave spell of the wind, which is my wave spell, and I know it very well. So we have the presence and the energy in this year of both Guinevere, Queen Guinevere, who is the one who brought the round table to Camelot. And the round table represents the stars. It's like the zodiac circle and the stars and synchronicity and that work with the high realms. And there was also Merlin at the end as the white cosmic wizard. And that's also the archetype of Jung. So that energy was very present and prevalent. And fun fact, Jung's birthday is July 26th. So that means that there is no, this is not like random that Jung was into this, because he represents like the transcendence of timelessness. And he was talking about synchronicity, all the things he did. And I would suggest that you read about synchronicity and that you read about Jung. And something really interesting happened to me last night also, excuse me, which um, was another synchronicity, very strong one. Because if you look into Jung's stories, there is this very, very prevalent, very known story where what he was, because he was a psychotherapist, and he was with this patient, and the patient was telling Jung about the dream, a dream he had with a beetle, a golden beetle. And there was suddenly, while they were talking about it, there was this noise on the window, and it was a beetle came up, and it wasn't like the time for a beetle to show up, like it was not the time of the year where you would find one. And that's one of the most well-known synchronicities related to Jung. And so what happened last night, as I was, because I finished this presentation today, as I told you, like I started downloading information barely yesterday. And after I had finished the basics for this presentation, I went out and I saw one of the kitties. I have a kitty that arrived to the house, and it was kind of playing with something. I was like, okay, there's a bug or there's something. I need to go rescue it. No, maybe it's a little bird or. And so I go, and it was this huge, huge beetle. It was like 2 inches long. I have never seen such a big beetle, like for real, like alive in front of me. And I was really in awe. I was like, okay, this is Jung trying to tell me something. So I got the little beetle and I put it elsewhere in the garden where it would be safe from the furry babies. And there is this series on Netflix that's called Another Self, really good, that talks about actually constellations and working with the ancestors and doing this work of the releasing and letting go. And the main character, she was reading at some point during the episode that I watched, she was reading Jung's Red Book. So I was like, okay. So I'm sharing this message because that might be pertinent to you as well. If you can get a copy of Jung's Red Book, and there are online versions, let's check it out. Like Jung is telling us, hey, you're gonna need this for this year that's coming. So this is a message that's coming through to me, and I'm sharing with you. Now that we are remembering in fractality what happened from the year 2021-22 with this energy of this year of the yellow electric sieve. So we had the energies, and also like the archetype is Merlin as well. So Merlin and Jung, they are the same. I mean, that's Merlin, the old, like the white cosmic wizard. And so these two were present. That was the archetypal energy for that year. And it was a preparation because we need to have the round table and we need to have the grail representing the feminine energy. And I talk more about it in the next year's readout. You have to bring them together. And if you bring them together, what comes is this, the galactic compass. I'm going to, for a moment, I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to pin myself so that you can see me. Okay, I don't know what happened, but there I am. So I'm going to pin myself so that you can see. Okay, so this, the galactic compass, this is the round table. And this is what's decoding for us. And Loidine, and I will talk about Loidine in a moment, she told a king that I know, she said, this is kind of like, like if you go to a safe box and you have to, move the numbers so that it will open up and give you like the treasure. Before going even into synchronotron, we have to use this. This is the tool because it's going to be opening up our brains to synchronicity. So this is very important. So this is the galactic round table. And in the center, we need to put the grail. If we don't have the grail in there, it's not going to work. So that year, I'm going to go back to the reading now. So that year, we have the energy, that was available in order to do that, to bring those two together so that then the next year we would be able to go on our quest for our own grail. So I would say, I would invite you to go and check out this reading. Is on YouTube and also on Odyssey, if I remember correctly. So this is the solar ring of the red self-existing moon, which is the year 2022-2023. And here I talked about the ladies of Avalon and Camelot and Morgaine. Morgaine that's the energy of Morgaine. So I talked about Morgaine and Lancelot and Arthur, because Lancelot is also connected in this wave spell. And then the quest for our galactic grail. So that year we have to go for our quest for our galactic grail. And for me, what it prompted was this dark night of the soul that was very necessary. So many of you might also have been drawn to work with healing the ancestors, healing the past, really realizing who you are, because this is like giving shape and form to our emotions and to our feminine energy. So if you were unbalanced, as I was very masculine, that started shifting the energy for that to happen. It's giving form to the healing, and it's giving form. If you put this image upside down, you will see it's like the grail, and that's the womb, and that's the possibility for a new creation. So it was like preparing the womb, so to speak. And so this, you can check it out on YouTube, and I would advise you to if you haven't. And then last year, which is the solar ring of the Overton Wizard, that, as I said, I'm not sure if it's there. If not, I will post it very shortly. And it's going to be available for everybody to check it out. So this was 2023, 2024. So I was talking about freeing ourselves from the jail of the dream world, integrating the excluded. Again, as I was saying, like bringing together the energies of the feminine and the masculine. And I talked a lot about these Aztec and Mayan deities, Chalchutlicue, and I talked about Chac or Tlaloc, like the rain coming down, that's the masculine energy, and the earth taking it in, and then bringing back that energy as the corn, for example, no? And that's Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan. Or Jesus, we could say, that like it's like the father and the mother, and they bring together the child. So I talked a little bit about it in this presentation, and you can check it out. And I thought, well, maybe because this is also a year of purification, that's one of the archetypes of the moon. I thought we had like coming back to this year, the storm was purification, strong one, very, very challenging. And then, okay, but that was necessary so that we could, it's like preparing the earth for planting new seeds. And I said, okay, maybe this will be, and it was kinder year, actually, this year. But then we come into the moon, and again, it's like moving and removing things that are stuck there for us to look at and to bring to healing, like make the unconscious conscious. And then I thought this will be a quiet year. I thought so, a magical year, because the wizard is a magic. And the wizard, as you can see here, it's closing its eyes to the 3D world so that it can open the eye, the third eye, to the magical realms. And the overtone tone is like empowering you to do that, empowering timelessness, empowering magic. So I thought that would be a year that would be like kind of more magical. And for me, it was in some senses, or has been, because we're not finished, like we're just a few days from the ending of the year. But truth is, it's again bringing up a lot of stuff, because if we look at a little bit at the energy, and that, as I said, you're going to be able to see it. This is in the wave spell of the dog, but there are many energies there. Again, storm is there, the monkey is there. There are many energies that are forcing us to like wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up to the magic. And in order to do that, you have to put aside that's what's hindering you, and that is that we let our egos take the front wheel. And no, the ego should be an ally, not the one dictating what's happening. So that's what we were talking about for this year that is ending now. And now we're entering the year of the blue rhythmic storm. So what about these archetypes? So there are three storm keywords. One is self-generation, while another one is catalysis, and the other one is energy. So if we look at the glyph, and I like to tell people, look at the glyphs, look at what they're telling you, because sometimes when I'm teaching and I ask my students, what are you looking at? What are you seeing? They will tell me that they see these amazing things that are so pertinent, so pertinent to what is being portrayed, like the energy. Like they don't know. I haven't still told them, like what do you see? And I haven't told them what it's about. And they give me information that is confirming the energy of the archetype. So if we look at it, it's like it has like this is the eye of, in the middle of the storm, and there are the little clouds, and then there's the thunder connecting to the earth. And the blue color is very connected to transformation in the galactic Mayan. So self-generation, it means you are generating yourself, you are creating yourself out of yourself. Catalyzes because it moves stuff, and energy because a storm has a lot of energy. As I said earlier, we are looking at bringing together like three different elements. On the one hand, there's water, which is purifying. And then on the other hand, there is the wind, which is bringing also like change. And then the lightning, which is a lot of energy, like a lot of energy. So when the storm comes to you, I should know this very well. I have it in my oracle, and I have the cosmic storm in there. When you need the energy to do something, the storm will push you to do that. But as I said earlier, what kind of storm do you want to beckon into your life? If you direct the storm, then you're going to be benefiting from it. And sometimes you do need the one that will destroy everything because you need to let go. So these are the keywords of the storm. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the energy. You can look into that. And eventually I'm going to, I know, and I've said it for like a couple of years, and I apologize that I'm saying I'm finally going to teach in English, which I will. I just have to translate and prepare the materials because nobody's teaching it with a pedagogical point of view. I studied pedagogy, so I know how to teach this properly. Like there's a lot of information out there, but we need to make it alive for us. How will it make sense for us? So we need to make it practical. And that's what I'm trying to do here with Mexxicamelot. So there are many levels to the law of time, as I said. There's a dream spell, the basic one, where we see the tones and the solar seals and how they connect, and we start connecting to the synchronic language. And actually, I call it synchronic mapping. Then there's telectonon, and telectonon is starting to connect us to the our solar system and connecting us to the rest of the galaxy, to the galactic reality. So why am I mentioning this? Because you will see here that it says this seal is governed by Pluto. So each one of the seals, we have 20 seals, and they come in pairs. So they will have assigned a planet. And in this case, it's Pluto. So if you know a little bit about astrology, if I say Pluto, you will know what I'm talking about. If you have experienced that energy. If you haven't, well, I will explain to you a little bit. So Pluto, what Pluto does, it makes you mush. It destroys you. It obliterates you. When Pluto touches you, which we all go through that at some point in our lives, it just gets rid of everything, completely changes everything, but it will make you mush in the process because you need to be made mush. A way that I can explain this is like when we're a caterpillar, no, and we're going into our cocoon, but in the cocoon we have to become mush. You have to like really destroy everything so that you can, with those materials, you can become a butterfly. And it's two completely different things. We're coming from the earth, from a very, very, it's a very dense body, and you have to become light. And in order to become light, you have to become mush. And then you grow your wings, and then you come into the earth. Still in the earth, but in the earth, no? So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you know about Pluto, then you know that the storm means business. The storm is not here to cuddle you and just like, oh, you little, no. It's gonna come and it's gonna like push you and obliterate you. And as it says here in the definition, no, it gives it the energy of death and resurrection. And we need to do that. We need to go through that because we're constantly being transformed. And for some reason, we want things to be kept the same, and it's just not possible. Then it says, it is governed by the root chakra and is located on the little toe of the left foot through which the bladder meridian passes. So I talk about this. We have a way of like this system of time is embedded in our bodies. And this is where you can find the energy of the storm. The essence is to catalyze to self-generate energy, perform accelerated transformations, revolutionary force, speed, decision. So this is very interesting because right now, if you follow astrology, you will know that Pluto just entered Aquarius. And so it's coming back. It's going to be, I think it's retrograde already, if I remember correctly. So it's going to go back to Capricorn, like more earthy things, but that's the last time it's coming into our lifetimes. So again, that's Pluto moving into Aquarius. That's it. It's transforming, and especially in Aquarius, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and I will talk about Uranus in a moment. So perform accelerated transformations, revolutionary force, speed, and decision. So that's what's happening. So when you bring together these two, and I will talk about it at the end, when you bring together Pluto and Uranus, this is what's happening. And this is the storm, like the rhythmic storm in a way. So here we have a little sentence that I love, and it says, may your strength catalyze human transformation to access a more subtle and harmonious life. So this is important because we really need to go through. Now that I'm out of my own storm, I can tell you it is necessary. Is it pretty? No. Will it hurt? You bet it will. But if you hang on to your life, if you show up and you just keep on going and you ride it out, then really good fruits will come from that. So a little bit more information about the storm. The Mayan name is Kawak. And Kawak is initiation by the fire, the path of lightning, no? The arrival of the thunder beings who bring the final transformation. So when lightning strikes, no, it can be very interesting because on the one hand, lightning can strike to wake you up. But on the other hand, lightning can strike to open up your heart. And so this is very interesting because, and I will talk about it a bit later, again, because something is going on in terms of astrology right now as we are recording this that is so pertinent to this. It's like bringing you the connection to this. And so, like, I don't know, 3-4 days ago, there was this huge blast. It was 3 o'clock in the morning here where I live. And there was this like explosion. It woke me up, obviously. It woke my dad up. I live with my father. And I have furry babies, so I have dogs and cats. And everybody, like, I immediately went to check on my dogs because they would be like terrified about this. Like, I had never in my life heard such an explosion. And so I went out and I saw my dad also out in the garden. And he said, are you okay? And I said, yes. And we said, what happened, no? And he said, I think there was a propane gas explosion. And I said, no, I think it was thunder. And he was like, no, but it doesn't, like thunder doesn't sound like that, no? Like when lightning strike, it doesn't sound. And I said, no, I think it was thunder. And then there was another replica, smaller one, of that thunder. And I was looking like for news about had there been an explosion. And no, it was a thunder, but never, never, never we had experienced one so close to our house. So that's the new. So that's what I was telling you about. That's Aquarius. And also that thunder, that storm coming down and saying, wake up. You are asleep. Wake up. And you will see that this has to do with what I'm going to talk about in the end of the presentation. So this is what it is. Thunder is bringing you the final transformation. And so Kawak for the Mayans represents the storm, the thundercloud filled with purifying rain because the rain is purifying, and the lightning that annihilates the false structures of reality. And that's exactly what is happening right now. And so you can have purification by fire or rain. So, or water, I mean. So you can find it as rain, as water, but fire is also lightning. So it is a purification of the temple of the body, and the lightning lightning on, like we're turning it on, of the light body. Kawak provides the water that purifies and quenches your spiritual thirst. So we're on this quest, and we need to wake up. And if you are asleep as I was, the blast is gonna wake you up, and you have no choice. We have no choice. This storm year, if you're not awake, it's gonna make a blast so that you will start paying attention. And then also in this state of consciousness, you stand ready to surrender everything. You surrender what you appear to be in order to become what you are. You enter the fires of the unknown and you are changed forever. Kawak is a catalyst and prepares your system and nervous circuit for the complete transformation. It's the electromagnetic storm of the transmutation, cleansing and revival of your physical, mental, emotional, and etheric bodies. And this is Pluto as well. This is what happens to you when Pluto touches you. And this year, we repeat the same energy every 4 years, but the tone makes the difference. And in this case, this storm is going to bring you a balancing. So if you're not balanced, then it's going to be a powerful, powerful transformation coming for you. So it's best you direct it. Now let's talk about the rhythmic tone. As I was just saying, it's not the same. So the keywords are equality, organize, and balance. And as I said, if you put this the other way around, and I'm going to make a little bit of a drawing here so that it will make more sense to you. If I put it the other way around, and then here this is, and then I do this like this, it's like, it's going to balance us. That's what the tone looks like. So what do you need to do? Stand in the middle. Stand in the middle and you won't get dizzy. There's a great song that talks about it. It's called Karma Slave. And it was in a movie, cartoon movie actually, called Titan AE. And it says, stand in the middle and you won't get dizzy. If you stand in the middle, then you won't fall down. So that's what we need to do, kind of like go to the middle, try to find the balance and the harmony. But obviously, if you're not in harmony, it's gonna bring you harmony, and the process can be a lot of fun. So now a little bit more information about the rhythmic tone. It organizes equality, it brings balance, harmony, pulsation ray of organic balance, giving the parts of a whole the organization necessary for them to function, resembles nature, stability, and compensate. The question we are being asked here is, how can I organize to be equal? How can I organize to be equal? So you respond to that question. Check it out. What does that mean for you? How does that look for you? And then the rhythmic tone is also telling us that we need awareness and commitment to create equality and balance. So we need to be aware of what's happening and commit to our higher good. Commit to living a fulfilled life. Living times art. Organic balance means that life is always growing, evolving, and transforming, which is why it is necessary to always be balancing things. Then everything flows efficiently, effortlessly, peacefully, and harmoniously. But it takes work, and the rhythmic tone is bringing us that work if you haven't done it. And then, Wak in the Mayan language means, that's the name of the tone. It means God of the rain and the storms. The first step to an inner transformation, the beginning of integration and introspection. So, yeah, like it's double whammy, Like we have a double storm. The 6 asks you to respond to life with love, to bring heaven down to life. Earth, through your incorporation of the 6-pointed star, incorporate the divine into your organic form. By being receptive to the celestial vibration, the sky is brought closer to the earth. So that's what we need to do, bring down heaven to earth. And that's in Kabbalah, that's the lightning coming down to the lowest of the spheres, to Malchut. And then our work in these years to go back up to source. So the lightning is coming down to us, activating us, and then we have to go back home. What does that look like for you? That's a question. So as you travel home, earth is brought closer to the heavens. That's what needs to be done in this year, basically. And then we have the new archetypes, the Hunabku 21 archetypes. And now the storm looks like the world changer. This is a new, it's like they are so beautiful. Look at it, you know, so much power and so much energy. And this archetype in the Hunabku 21 is the world changer, the alchemist master, the catalytic transformer, the voice of thunder. Experience self-generation as a love of Hunabku. So Hunabku is a one giver, señor y dador de movimiento. So the Lord and one giver of movement. So it's like the primordial force, the power of one, God, however you want to call that primordial energy of creation. And my teacher, Mike, says that we were created out of love. God creates everything as a reflection of itself so that it can understand itself, but it does it out of love. Like the division that was so painful, and it's painful, division and being away from each other. It's so painful, but it's necessary. And it's an act of love so that creation unfolds moment by moment by moment. It's still unfolding even right now. It's not a thing that happened in the past. It's still going on. It's ongoing. So the world changer is telling us experience self-generation as a law of Hunabku. And then we have, this is like the poem of the world changer. And it says, I am the world changer coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone, skilled at the arts of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters you. Your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rain that purifies. So that's the energy of the world changer. It was I who caused the triple aspect monuments of the avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun for the regeneration of the world soul. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. So be mindful of this poem because it's what's going to be informing the whole year. And this is bringing us a great regeneration to enter the next cycle, to enter the sixth sun. Mm-hmm. So we have talked about this, and now we are going to talk a little bit about an archetype that is going to be very present this year, which is the Lady of the Lake. So as above, so below, no? By energetic correspondence, the Lady of the Lake, Bolonique, is also holding this year's energy. So this is the Lady of the Lake, and her kin is kin 22. Oh, I see something on the chat. I'm sorry. Let's see, what does it say? Give me a second, please. Okay. So Olga had to leave. Sure, no problem. You can listen to the recording later. Yes, Olga, thank you for being here with us. And I'll send you the recording later. Okay. So it says, as above, so below. And so her kin is kin 22. And that is the white solar wind. And she's a galactic activation portal as well. And so in the Tzolk'in, this is the Tzolk'in weaving, she is in this position. Now, why do I put, or why have I put Lady Guinevere here? If you look at her, that is because it's like a mirror. They're mirroring each other. And so I was talking about how, sorry about that, there's a lot of noise going on around here. And so we have, like a couple of years ago, as I mentioned, it was the yellow electric seed. So Guinevere was very active during that year, as well as here is the white cosmic wizard. And so, as you can see, these two are mirrors that are holding the center, holding this part of the Tolkien. And so now it is like after moving with her energy, and there was her energy, and then there was Merlin's energy, Then the following year, we have the energy of Morgaine. She is over here, Kin 69, in the wave spell of the World Bridger. So this was Morgaine. I'm just gonna put a little bit of, I'm gonna show you about these energies as well. So there is, here is Morgaine. And in that wave spell, we also have Lancelot, as I was telling you. And in this year over here, we have Merlin. So I'm currently doing, and this is an ongoing investigation that has been taking many, many years. I'm working with the Galactic Mayan and the Arthuriad and these archetypes. And here in the Oracle for Morgaine, you can find Arthur. Arthur is King 30. And then here we have on King 34, it's Merlin the Young. So over here also as a mirror, look at that. I hadn't noticed that. Oh my God. I've been working with this for years and I still discover stuff. Look, you're accompanying me in a discovery in life, like live, no, in this moment it's happening. So this is the energy of Merlin the Young, which is the white galactic wizard, and he's the one that brought the dream spell count to us on the year of the harmonic convergence. And then here we have Merlin the Ancient, the older one that has done all the work. So all of these, like this was present 2022, 2023, if I am correct. Yes. And then 2023, 2024, it was Morgaine and Lancelot. And by proxy, we had Arthur, because he is Morgaine's analog, perfect analog in the Oracle. But also, by proxy, we have Merlin, you see? So this is very interesting. And now I'm going to erase this because I don't want us to get very distracted. But the current wave spell for this year that is beginning, and I'm going to put it in green, the current wave spell is the wave spell of the wizard. So we're still continuing with the wizard energy, as you can see. So this is the wave spell that is going to inform our galactic Mayan year. And so she is another one of the archetypes that is present. And so what does that mean for us? What is she bringing for us today? So what she is bringing is also the energy of Bolonique. So who is Bolonique? In the dream spell, the galactic signature of the Lady of the Lake is Kin 22, White Solar Wind Bolonique. Where did I get this? I got this from the Arcturus probe. It's said there. It's stated there. And that's what actually prompted all of my other synchronicities that brought me all of these archetypes. And as I said, it's an ongoing investigation and discovering things even with you in real time. So this is also the galactic signature of Loidin Burris, who was the former partner of Jose Arguelles, and she was there with him during the first years of the development of the Law of Time. She helped develop the dream spell and the telectoner. So she's very important. She also passed away a couple of years ago. And so we are honoring her today as well. And she's part of this energy of this year. Now let's talk a little bit about the mythology of the Lady of the Lake. There's so many versions and so many stories. I'm trying to get like really serious about my studies of the Arthuriad, and my teacher Mike Weiss is helping me with that. So check out all the videos that we have uploaded on YouTube talking about Avalon and talking about these archetypes, because it's so interesting from a Kabbalistic point of view. So what I'm trying to do is collect all the information from the Galactic Mayan. So I found this information for you that I can share, and it says, the Lady of the Lake, or Dame du Lac, is a title that was held by more than one woman, and that is true, because she was like a high priestess, and so many women would take that role. Generally, she is regarded as a water fae that raised Sir Lancelot beneath the murky waters of her lake. However, she is best known as the one who, at the request of Merlin, presented the magical sword Excalibur to Arthur. So she comes with Excalibur. And I'm just going to go back for a moment here. Excalibur, I have also decoded Excalibur. So Excalibur is over here, right at the center of the Tolkien. That is the galactic white mirror, because the mirror also represents the sword. And then we just passed this energy a few days ago. The galactic round table is actually the galactic star. So these are archetypes that are also like present in a way because it's part of the mythology. So the Lady of the Lake presents Excalibur to Arthur, but this is a magical tool that can only be used for a while and then it has to be returned. So when Arthur is going to die, the sword is brought back to the lake, and then the Lady of the Lake takes it back. So we have some, and this is in many mythologies, when we are on our hero's quest, we might receive a magical item that will help us in our quest. But once it is done, and it's only going to be used for a higher good, once it is done, then we have to bring it back to the magical realm where it came from, because it's only being here for a while to help us through our own work. And so, in a way, we could say that this is what's happening this year. We can take the sword, claim our sovereignty, use it to cut cords, and to cleanse and release and let go. So this is one of the gifts that the Lady of the Lake is bringing to us. So Nineveh, or Nimue, is the end of Mallory's Le Morte d'Arthur, the chief lady of the lake. She is one of the queens who take Arthur to Avalon after he has been grievously wounded at the Battle of Camelot. Thus, Avalon has been sometimes associated as the realm of the Lady of the Lake in some literary traditions. Since Morgan Le Fay in some sources replaced Nimue as Merlin's student in exchange for offering her love to the wizard, and is also one of the queens that take Arthur to Avalon, she's sometimes also considered a Lady of the Lake. So the Lady of the Lake we're talking about today is not Morgane. We talked about her like 2 years ago. Go check out the video. But in this case, the Lady of the Lake is this other archetype, and we're going to find her galactic Mayan equivalent as well. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Lady of the Lake in the Mists of Avalon. It's also a very beautiful movie. I know that there's some controversy related to the author, but I'm not going to be talking about it. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the stories that she told. And so here her name is Viviane, and it says, Viviane is for the most time the high priestess of Avalon. She is the older sister of Igraine and Morgause, mother of Balin and Lancelot, and the aunt of Morgane, Arthur, Gawain, and Gareth. She is portrayed as a strong religious and political leader. Her fatal flaw is her willingness to use others in her quest to save Avalon without thinking of their emotional suffering. So you can also talk, like it's being talked in the Arcturus Proof, there is like this Merlin's chess, no? This chess that is very magical. So you can see that both Merlin and Vivian are moving the pieces in a chessboard. So it's talked about here, and there is a lot of lore regarding that, the magical chess in the Arthuriad, and also in the Arcturus Proof. So Vivian is misunderstood because her family has little contact with her, and that she would have to, they don't understand that she would have to do anything to keep Camelot and Avalon and the priestesses of Avalon alive in everyone's hearts. Vivian is killed by her older son's balance foster brother Balin. That's what happens. So in the books, not in the movie, but if you want to connect a little bit more with this archetype of the Lady of the Lake, this is a good movie and a good story to do so. Now let's talk more about the archetypal energy. One of the main symbols of the Lady of the Lake is water. Because she lives underwater, she exists in a realm almost completely unknown to people, which adds to her depiction as a symbol of mystery and magic. Water was also often used as a symbol of healing, which is illustrated in her treatment of Arthur after he falls on the battlefield. And some of them look at her as a mermaid. That's why I chose this image, no? And this is connecting us to two very interesting archetypes, which are like the energy of Neptune, because Neptune is the mists of Avalon, and also Pisces, which is underwater. And so I want to share with you a little bit of astrological information, which is also very, very pertaining to right now, the times, because Neptune is right now at the end of Pisces. And I think it's retrograde right now, if I remember correctly. So this is a very prevalent energy that is informing the next galactic Mayan year, even though Neptune is about to change signs. It's coming next Gregorian year. So Pisces is telling us, always believe in your magic. It doesn't matter if storms rage around you. Focus on what you want. Nothing can stop you, not even your fears. And then Neptune is also the ruler of Pisces. So Neptune governs dreams, illusions, psychic ability, and fantasy, which is why Pisces tend to have strong traits of romanticized idealism and keen intuition. So these are the mists of Avalon. It's like all covered up. There's illusions, there's fantasy, but there's also potential to connection with intuition. So Neptune can be looked at as a psychic veil, which separates different worlds and dimensions. So this is it, like we're in a liminal state right now. These planet effects can be translucent, and its traits tend to take on whatever role you choose to give them, much like the characteristics of Pisces, whose personality might change depending on whom they're talking to. So this is very connected to the Lady of the Lake and the ideas of Avalon. So just keep that in mind, because astrologically that's very, very prevalent and active right now. And then talking a little bit more about this water element in the archetype, water spirits were very popular and important in Celtic traditions and were associated with the essence of life. Tides and the movement of rivers, streams, and lakes were believed to stem from the supernatural abilities of the fays or goddesses that dwelt within. These bodies of water were considered a Celtic otherworld. Thus, offerings such as swords, jewelry, coins, and figurines were frequently made at lakes, ponds, wells, springs, and pools. It is thought that the Lady of the Lake in Arthurian legend may have originated from the Celtic water goddess Coventina, with the name Viviana, Nivian, etc., stemming from Coviana, a variation of Coventina. So this is interesting because if you know, like there's the wishing well, right? And we go and we drop the coins. And if you ever have a chance to go to Italy and you visit in Rome, La Fontana di Trevi, no? The Fountain of Trevi, and you have to like behind, and you're like in front of the fountain, it's behind you, and you have to throw the coins so that you will return. That's a tradition. So this makes a lot of sense. And many people, for example, I do that. I just went to the sea for my solar return, and I brought a little present to the sea, because if not, once it happened to me, and that was in France when I was in Nice, I was in the water and I had a ring, and and the sea took the ring because it wanted something from me. So we can offer something every time we're close to a body of water. Just bring something as an offering to these magical beings who take care of these places, and you can feel them. If you can really pay attention to that, you can sense it. They are there. It's really beautiful to connect with them. Now let's talk about the Lady of the Lake in the Galactic Mayan lore. So the Lady of the Lake is a Uranian wind spirit woman, the perfection of woman as perceived by Percival. The lake in which she dwelt is a universal resonant holon transferred to the earth core. There, her power holds the Excalibur, the Uranian mirror form of Timeship Earth 2013, for the 20 tribes of time to pull from its crystal sheath at the appointed hour. So this is when we said like the closing of the cycle, new cycle, and then we're moving on to a new reality. And this is interesting because I'm not going to talk a lot in depth into this, but the wind, the planet that represents the wind in this case from the telectonon is Uranus. And as I said, like, where is Pluto right now? Pluto is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So you see the connection between the Lady of the Lake being very present and prevalent in this year, and the energy of this year of the rhythmic, like the blue rhythmic storm. So I took this information from the Arcturus Pro. So you can read the book, and I mean, it's like it was channeled, and it's crazy, and it might not make much sense to you, but it's like very, very interesting book to read. And obviously there is this counterpart of the Lady of the Lake in the galactic, not in the I'm sorry, in the Mayan, because this archetype of the Lady of the Lake, Bolonik, is also Sakbak. Sakbak is the mother of the king Pakal. So I'm going to read some excerpts from the book, and it says, I am White Heron Lady Sakbak. On the day 9 Ik, white solar wind, I was born. In my birth, I acceded to the throne of Nachan, House of the Serpent, Palenque. On this day, sacred to the spirit people of Urania, the channel between our project on Terra Gaia and the Excalibur was established. This was exactly 144 years prior to the beginning of the Arcturus Dominion, in precise counterpoint to Merlin's self-retirement into the Excalibur. So this is she. This is Sakbak, which is Bolonik. And there is this book, this woman, and I have to read. She sent me a book. I haven't read it. 10 years ago. I'm the most horrible of persons sometimes. But if you want to read, she actually is talking about these Mayan queens from the perspective also from Avalon. So I would really, really encourage you to go and check them out and tell me what you think about it. That's why I chose this image, because it's talking about Sac. And then it says, from the Arcturus Pro, with others of the Uranian Mayan Special Assistant Pro, I had tested the mine tunnels leading from Excalibur at the core of Terra Gaia to our surface base, Mayar, or Mexico. We had established this surface base at the 2,600-year frequency midpoint of the 2060 time beam, when the Venusian known as Buddha, born of Maya, took incarnation in the heart of the Dragon Zone. I, White Heron Lady, White Solar Wind, founder of the dynasty of Nachan, Wind Spirit Woman, heart mother of Chief Technician Pakal Botan of Palenque, I remain watchful of events. I have seen Maya come and Maya go. From within spectral portals of the Excalibur, I return. There, as Lady of the Lake, waiting by Merlin's side, I wonder which of you knows how to release us from our hold, which of you remembers how to recall the future. So this is what we are being asked to do, remember the future. And this is something that Stephanie South talks a lot about, constantly. How do we recall the future, and what kind of future do we want to recall? They're waiting for us to wake up and do our part and reconnect to the divine stream of natural time. And so when are we going to feel this energy of, specifically in the year coming, in the solar moon of the Jaguar? This is when and I'm gonna talk about it in a moment. So that's when she's going to be most present. So this is the mythology. This is the energy that is going to be with us. And now let's do a quick readout, a quick energetic readout of what's gonna happen in this galactic Mayan year. And so what I do is I fractalize, and we can do this. I fractalize the whole wave spell, the 13 days that are enclosing this year's beginning. We can fractalize it into 13 moons of 28 days plus 1 day, the day out of time. And so we begin our path on July 26th until August the 22nd with the magnetic moon of the bat. So during these days, we're going to be fractally living the energy of the white wizard. Now, let me tell you real quick, what is the purpose of this year that is beginning? The purpose is to attract timelessness in order to transcend death. So as you can see, very, very deep transformational year, and it's going to be very challenging. But if we know how to use these challenging energies, then we can just find the magic and have a great year ahead of us. So the oracle for these 28 days, like the energy that is going to be with us, it's the magnetic tone is attract. So we have to ask ourselves, what is my purpose for this year? So before this, like in the next couple of days, I will ask you to sit down and answer these questions. The first one is, what will be my purpose for this galactic Mayan year? Knowing that the storm is going to inform it, the rhythmic storm. So it's going to bring transformation. So what is my purpose? So the purpose is to attract timelessness, to attract magic, and it's guided by its own power. So what we need to do is just connect with magic. This is going to be a very, very magical and powerful time. And then our analog power, what will help us is the connection with our body, because this is the serpent. Connections with our bodies, it's going to be taking care of our nervous system. That's very important. Then to our sexual energy. How does it present? Like, how is my femininity or my masculinity showing up? How do I bring balance between those two? How do I pay attention to my body, to my physicality? If I'm not feeling well, listen to the body and get some rest. Okay? If I need to activate myself and do some breathing and some yoga or some meditation, this is a good time to do that. Connect with our body. The challenge, the antipode, is the seed. So the challenge is, what seeds am I going to plant for this new solar ring? What will I do? Will I become aware of things? And will I really take the time to create new projects? Or will I just continue in my unconsciousness? And then we have the occult power, which is the blue cosmic hand. So this is going to bring us the possibility of healing. And also the hand brings us the possibility of closing and opening cycles as much as this one would bring to us, as the world bridge would bring to us. So healing, also creating things with our hands, being creative, musical, anything that has to do with the use of our hands, that's going to be an occult power that is going to help us achieve our purpose that we have set out at the beginning of the year. So that would be like the homework, no? Like, figure out what is going to be my purpose for this next spin. So that's what's gonna happen in the magnetic moon on the back of the bat. Then we move on to the lunar moon of the Scorpion from August 23rd to September 19th. And then the lunar tone, as I said, is challenging. So what is going to be my challenge? And the question you have to ask yourself here is, what is going to be the challenge that will present itself so that I will, like, what do I need to look at in terms of what's going to be difficult for me to do so that I can achieve the purpose that I explained in the previous step? So what's going to be my challenge? And in this case, we have the eagle. The challenge is to have a very clear vision of your planetary service. And I've said this so many times already, all over the place. The best planetary service you can do, this is not about going to a sacred site and just chanting Om and saying, oh, I'm going to be illuminated by the power. No, that's not it. That's being very confused. Your planetary service is, what is your vision for your life? Because if you are in tune with yourself, if you're in tune with your own magic and with your energy, what's going to happen is you're lifting like dense energy from the earth, and that's helping a lot. So what are you going to do around you, close to you, in your heart? What is your vision? What do you really want to do with your life? That is a challenge. Keep very clear what you want to do. So that's the eagle, and it's guided by the lunar hand, which is again bringing you the archetype of healing, closing and opening cycles, stopping things if you need to stop them, or getting them to move around. So I would say the challenge is heal yourself, connect with your vision. And then here, this is interesting, in the oracle, sometimes things flip around. Now here, the analog power, like the best friend, is, again, what are going to be your seeds for projects for this year? You have to do something tangible, anything, choose one thing. You don't need to do like, no, choose one thing that you want to do, one for yourself and for your vision. And then here, the antipode, the challenge of the challenge, because we have challenge for the tone too, and also for the serpent, is in this moon, in the previous moon, you had to connect with your body, but in this moon, it's more like, don't over connect to your body. Don't over-identify yourself with your body. Your body is an extension of the spirit and the soul that you are. But that doesn't mean that that's who you are. So try not to go into too many sensory things, not to abuse alcohol or abuse food or whatever thing. Like, no, just take a breather and take care of your body, but do not like indulge in things that will be detrimental to your physical health. And then here in the occult, we have the world bridger, it's tone 12, crystal tone. So that means that you need to cooperate with others in order to release and let go of things you don't no longer need. So this is important. Ask your tribe to help you if you need to get rid of stuff, and offer help if somebody asks you to do that. So that's the energy for the lunar moon of the Scorpio. And then for the electric moon of the Deer, from September the 20th to October the 17th, you have to ask yourself, how can I be of service? How do I connect with others? How do I make this linking with other people to achieve my goal, my purpose that I stated on the first moon? And here we have the warrior. So the warrior is telling you to ask the right questions and stop fighting. Stop fighting stuff. Become a peacemaker. So ask the right questions. Let your intelligence guide you. And then also, speaking about guiding, the guiding power here is the yellow electric sun. And the sun talks about illumination. It's like, get the right information so that you can connect with wisdom through your question. It's not like I'm going to be fighting people. No, like, be smart. Choose your battles wisely, I would say. And then here, the analog power, we have the night, the blue electric night, and it represents this connection with the deep unconscious, with abundance, with the feminine energy, because this is our pathway to being born. This is the birth canal. And it also represents the cenotes, these caves that the Mayans would go into to connect with the underworld. So that's also that connection. We're going into the cave through the mouth of the jaguar. So we have to be engulfed by the jaguar, which is actually the energy of the wizard, no? So go within, look at your unconscious, bring it up into awareness and consciousness, and bring it so that it can be healed. And then the antipode power is the white electric world bridger. And again, it's like, face your fears. What are you afraid of? Connect to other realities. Allow yourself to go through a metaphorical death. And this is something that my dark night of the soul taught me. I will go back into, I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm going to talk about it when we get here. I want to share some insights that I got that might be useful for you, or someone who you know that might be going through that process of the dark night of the soul. And then the occult power is, again, the serpent. We have here the snake, the serpent, and this is the spectral serpent. So the serpent is changing the skin, and then with the spectral tone even more so, like, this is time to change. Let go of the old. Change your skin. Renew yourself. Still connecting to the earth, but renew yourself. So that would be the energy for the electric moon of the deer. And then we move on to the self-existing moon of the owl from October 18th to November the 14th. And here we have the energy of the red self-existing earth. So the self-existing tone is talking about to us about giving shape and form. So the question for you during this moon to answer is, how am I going to give form of my strategies, or how am I going to give form to that purpose that I stated in Moon 1? Like, very, very clearly, how am I going to bring it a shape and a form? How am I going to bring it forth into the world? And here you see the difference between the warrior and the earth is that the warrior, the question was like closed in, but here the question has been opened up. Like, we are asking the right questions and we're moving as the Earth does in space, and we're evolving, we are changing, we are learning new things. And the Earth is akin, both the Earth um, and the world, no, Skywalker, I'm sorry, Skywalker, they are keen who like to travel a lot. So you can do two things. Either you travel physically somewhere, or you allow yourself to travel in your mind to other possibilities. So you're being asked to evolve and to change, and the guiding power is asking you to explore new possibilities and to bring down the columns between the heaven and the earth. So how do I do that? How do I bring down heaven to earth? And how do I explore other possibilities? You have to let go of the known, go into the unknown. And then the analog power is the wind, which is spirit. So connect with your spirit, communicate assertively what you want. Because, I mean, if you don't say what you want, if you don't speak what you want, the universe will bring you whatever. So be sure you know what to ask for, and ask for it very, very thoroughly and very, very well stated, assertively. And then the antipode power is the hand. It's going to force you to bring in that healing, give shape to your healing, stop hiding from it. And then we have here in the occult, again, the seed, the planetary seed. So how am I going to manifest those projects that I want to bring forth during this galactic Mayan year? So those are the energies that are going to be accompanying us. And now for the overtone moon of the peacock, November 15th to December the 12th, we're going to be living. This is going to be a very powerful moon. The overtone tone is asking us, like, how do I empower myself? How are you going to bring power to that purpose so that it will come through? Because it's starting to slowly develop. So the mirror is telling us about endlessness also, like there's the endlessness, but also bringing order. So you need to bring order into your life. Whatever is out of place, bring order to it, and ask yourself, what kind of mirror do I want to be reflected upon? One that brings truth and light, or one that is going to be, when you go to the fair and everything is distorted and changed? What kind of mirror do you want to be in the world? And in order to do that effectively, you're going to have the guiding power of the world bridger. So you have to let go of that which no longer serves you. Die to what you thought you were meant to be so that you can become who you really are. That's what this solar ring is all about. So you have to go through this step. This is one moon before we fractally leave the whole energy of the year. So this is why this is happening at this point. And then the analog power is the red overtone dragon. And the dragon is asking of you, nourish yourself, take care of yourself, pamper yourself. Like, stop giving your energy so much to the outside, but start, this is moment for you. It's like you're going to feed yourself because you're going to go hibernate, for example. So you need to be very, very thorough in taking care of yourself, tending to your own garden. This is what the energy of the dragon is telling you. So whatever you want to begin or do, you will have the energy to do so. And then the antipode power is the yellow overtone star. So remember, live your life as a work of art. Be true to yourself. Live your life as a work of art. Don't get distracted. Just be mindful of that. And then here we have in the occult power, again, the night, but this time it has the solar tone. So how am I going to bring realization? How am I going to bring fruition to the work that I'm doing, connecting to the subconscious mind? Bring it up to be healed. Connect to the feminine energy, connecting to the womb. That's what is being asked of us in this moon. And then the rhythmic moon of the lizard or the crocodile, December 13th of 2024 to January 9th, 2025. So these were moving from one Gregorian year to the next. And the question is, how do I balance myself? And this moon is going to require us to balance ourselves so much because the storm is coming in in its full splendor these 28 days. And I already talked about the storm and the rhythmic tone, no? And it's guided by its own power. So it's gonna be challenging. This moon, and it makes a lot of sense that this is happening right now and this moment, I mean, because it's the end of the Gregorian year and many people celebrate Christmas and the new Gregorian year. These are very, very challenging times. So be particularly mindful of being very loving towards yourself, very caring, because the energies are going to be so dense. You need to go with the flow. And the help here is the sun. Remember, always, after the storm, the sun will come out. So just hang on to your life, remembering the sun will, this is just passing by. These are clouds passing by. The storm will pass by. I just need to hang on for dear life, and then the sun will come out. So that's going to help you, the promise of a new tomorrow. And then the challenge is, again, the moon, the rhythmic moon, red rhythmic moon. So you need to work with your emotions will be very, very, very prevalent here. So if your emotions are not in order, it's going to be challenging. So just try to go with the flow. And then another help, the occult power here is the spirit, the wind, the galactic wind. So it's like bringing harmony through connecting with my spirit. So even though there's chaos around us, in the 3D, connect to spirit, and that's going to help you. That's going to sustain you. Be true to yourself. Then we have the resonant moon of the monkey from January 10th to February 6th. And here we're in the middle of the year now. We have, again, the energy of the sun. So resonant sun is, how do I inspire myself to continue the work that I began in Moon 1? How do I inspire myself to bring fruition to that purpose? So how do you do that? Continue working with yourself, bettering yourself. That's the sun, that's the illumination, enlightening yourself. And you're being guided by the human, the yellow human. So here, the human talks about connecting to your wisdom, talking about connecting to abundance, the abundance of the universe, and also your sovereignty. It's very important that you remain sovereign. And the help here is, if the previous moon we were releasing, letting go, and cleansing ourselves through the energy of the storm, the rhythmic storm, then here we're going to have the resonant storm. Continue the reverberation of the cleaning process, but directed by yourself in a kinder way. And then here, the antipode challenge is remain in your heart. That's the dog. Connect to your heart. Connect to unconditional love. And the occult power is the rhythmic dragon. Again, find balance in taking care of yourself. Tend to your own garden so that the birth will come. So it's going to be an interesting moon. And then the next moon, galactic moon of the hawk, from February 7th to March the 6th, we're going to have the energy of the red galactic dragon. So the galactic tone is asking you, am I walking my talk? Am I being coherent and congruent with what I said I would do at the beginning of the year? That's a question to ask during these 28 days. So here again, we're having a very, very strong impulse to take care of our bodies, take it easy, do a lot of meditation, take care of your nervous system, drink enough water. These are good moments if you want to go to a sweat lodge, for example, and do some work with going into the womb, into your birth, rebirth. This is a good time to do that. And so the dragon is asking you, take care of yourself. The serpent is take care of your body, take care of your nervous system, take care of your like more dense physicality, take it easy. And then here we have Excalibur. Remember I told you about the white galactic mirror? That's Excalibur. So let's take Excalibur, this magical tool, to just continue cutting everything that is like holding on to us, that is not allowing us to move forward. Continue putting order in our lives, because the galactic tone is harmonizing as well. And then we have the monkey in front. So the monkey here, as a challenger, is asking us to don't manipulate, don't lie, don't hurt others, because the monkey can be very hurtful. But it also represents our inner child. So work with your inner child. If your inner child needs healing, this is the time to work with it. And it's going to probably cost, like, it's going to bring your attention to that energy. And things are going to be moving around, things that don't make sense. That's the monkey that's doing that work. So connect with your inner child to bring some healing to it. Amidst the big storm that we're going on as adults, also remember to take care of your inner child. And then here we have the rhythmic storm as the occult power. So again, how am I going to balance this change? How am I going to balance this taking care of myself, looking for the best things for myself? As the sun, connect with that energy of the sun that is going to give you life and warmth and that help us be alive. So that's the galactic moon. And now we're moving on to the solar moon of the Jaguar from March the 7th to April the 3rd. And fractally, here we have the energy of the Lady of the Lake. So I would say that during these 28 days, you can do a little bit of a meditation and just connect with her. We already talked about the archetype, no? So I would say just connect with her. And then the question for us in this moon is, how do I attain my purpose? Because we're in the last stretch, reaching the last stretch of the galactic Mayan year. So here in the oracle, we have the solar tone is asking us, how do I connect with spirit? How do I breathe life into what I'm doing? And I'm being guided again by the mirror. So by congruence, by putting order, by connecting to the infinite powers. And then here we have the energy of the earth as the analog. So dare to do things in a different way. Allow yourself to evolve and change, do things in a different way. And the challenge here is also from the perspective of the antipode, the human. Don't be conceited. Don't think that you're the best of the best. Work on yourself, work on your inner being in terms of your sovereignty, in terms of your wisdom. Don't think that you know everything because you really know nothing. So be humble. That's what this human is asking us to do. Be humble. And then here we have the energy of the storm again. And this is actually let me see, the overtone storm. So again, empowering, it's going to empower even more the transformation that is coming to us. So this is the energy of the waters, which we already talked about, the energy of Neptune and the mists, because we're connecting with spirit, and with the wind and the lightning, now purification by water, and also by fire, lightning, and purification by wind as well. Then we move on to the planetary moon of the dog, and we're going to be resonating these 28 days with the question is, how do I manifest my purpose? I saw how to attain it in the previous moon, and now how do I manifest it? Because we are really in the last part of the year. So here we have the energy of the blue planetary night. So work with the unconscious. Bring forth what is in the unconscious. Bring forth the healing that our monkey child needs to be healed. Be playful. Like this is a moon. Let's be a little bit more playful. Don't take things so seriously. That's also the energy of the monkey. Be more playful. And then we have here in the analog power, the warrior, which is like ask the correct questions, connect to your intelligence. Don't just go and try to fight people and fight things. No, bring peace to yourself. And then the antipode is the Skywalker energy. So dare do new things, explore new possibilities, go for it. If you can travel, travel, do that. It's a good time to do it. And then the occult, we have the self-existing mirror. How am I going to bring shape to the order that I'm trying to bring forth during this year? Then the spectral moon of the serpent, we're having the energy of the seed. The spectral tone is asking us for this moon, how do I release and let go of that which no longer serves me? And because we have the seed here and it's its own guiding power, I would say, okay, so some things you decided you wanted to do this year and it's almost the end of the year, you couldn't do it. Take it easy on yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Some things will come through and some others will not. So don't worry about it, but try to be aware and conscious of what is happening with your energy, what is happening with you. Huh? That's the power that is guiding us. What are going to be your projects? And then the analog power here is the blue spectral eagle. So the eagle is asking you to fly. Go look for your vision. Let go of anything that is keeping you in the ground. It's time to renew yourself. Soar the skies. Go and fly. Go and do it. Don't be afraid. You have your wings to help you fly. Go ahead. You're being held and sustained by the universe. And then the challenge here is a wizard. White spectral wizard. So let go of anything that disconnects you from the magic. Let go of timelines. Let go of deadlines as well. Go with the flow. Magic will come to you. And then in the occult power, we have the red electric earth. Connect with others to bring by your evolution and your change and your growth. Connect with others in order to bring that expansion and that growth and that joy and that happiness that the earth brings you. And obviously the seed has to go into the earth. They come together. They are occult powers all the time. Then we have the crystal moon of the rabbit, May the 30th to June the 26th. And in this case, we have the crystal tone, which is cooperation. So how do I bring cooperation with others to bring forth my purpose? So in this moment, in these 28 days, if your purpose is not attained and you need help from others, go and help them and ask for their help also. Like it has to be reciprocal. And the serpent is telling us, change skin, connect to your physicality, and you're being guided by the earth. So you might feel a deep connection to Mother Earth and to your body and to your joy, into being alive. It's nice to have a body. It's nice to be here. Just don't go into the sensory overload. Just take care of your nervous system, because the serpent is reminding us to do that. Also, it's a good time like to go and walk on the earth, feel the grass under your feet, hug a tree. These are good activities on these 28 days. And then the analog power is the wizard, no? So it's cooperate with others to create magic. So go into your communities. Let's see what you can do together. And then the antipode is the eagle, the blue crystal eagle. And here the idea is bring these two together to create the Quetzalcoatl, the Kukulkan, the feather serpent, so that your 3D can be connected to your higher self and do that planetary service that you have been dreaming about. And remember, the planetary service and your vision has to be grounded in you, because that's where the seed for that is waiting. You cannot help the world unless you have worked with yourself. And then here in the occult power, again, we have the warrior, and it's lunar tone, so it's challenging. So what it's telling you is, don't fight things, flow with it. Don't fight things, ask the right questions, open up your mind, and you will be surprised. And finally, we're going to close this year of the blue rhythmic storm with the cosmic moon of the turtle from June 27 to July 24th. And I'm going to come back to something that I was going to mention, because this is the archetype that is very present during this moment, which is the world bridger. Now we have the 13th tone, which is the tone of transcendence. transcendence. So the question here is, how do I transcend my purpose? Did I accomplish it? Did I fulfill what I said I would do? And so the energy of the world bridger, on the one hand, we can see it like two hands coming together, and one is bringing you up to the next level. It can talk to you about different levels of reality. People who have this energy, they are people, normally what I've seen, people who can see like fairies, ghosts. They can feel, they're very sensitive people who can feel things. And because sometimes they have very scary experiences, because obviously not only the light looks for you when you have these mediumship qualities, also other energies come to you and they get scared. So many people that have this seal will be drug addicts, or they will be alcoholic, because they want to shut down everything that they are sensing. These are very special people and they need to have help. So if you know somebody who needs the help, uh, tell them you need to talk to somebody, because if not, then you will want to shut it down and you're only going to hurt yourself. And so it also represents the moment when a person is taking their last breaths in life. And if you've had the experience of being a death doula or accompanying somebody in their last breaths, which I had to go through with my mother, and it was a privilege for me, and I'm grateful that I was there for her in that moment. This is exactly what the face looks like when you're giving your last breath. And in the galactic, not the galactic, I'm sorry, in the long count, in the original Mayan count, this is called Kimi or Simi or death. And you can see that half of the face looks like a skull and the other one like it's alive. And that's the energy of the world bridger. But it also represents, it's not necessarily talking about a physical death, but a metaphorical death. And so coming back to what I was going to share with you earlier when this archetype popped up, but I think it's more proper here because we're talking about the transcendent tone. When somebody is going through a dark night of the soul, you feel that you want to die. And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I just feel that I want to die. Physically, you feel even the pain. You're like, I can't be here anymore. But what I came to understand, and I had my tribe with me cheering me on when I was going through this, what I came to understand is we're not being asked to physically die. So if you know somebody who's going through depression, or they're very sad, or they feel they can't cope, just let them know it's what's being asked of you is to die psychologically, not die physically. That is the difference between one and the other. So if you hang on, if you show up, if you keep on like going, you will understand, and then you let that psychological death come to you, because you're going to die to what you thought you were meant to be, to what you thought you were meant to do. You're going to die to the expectations of society, your family, everybody. And that's Pluto. And that's the energy of the storm. If you just allow that to happen, then the being of light that you are, your true self, is going to come out. And then you will connect again to light. So this is what might happen to a lot of people during this moon, that you're going to be asked to just like really let go of everything that everybody is expecting from you, even your own self. What you think you should look like, what you think you should be. No, let it go so the true you can come out. And who's going to guide you through that process? The dog, unconditional love. But the dog in its shadow can bring you like territoriality, or they can be very jealous and they can be possessive and they can be, you should be this, no? So be careful. Connect to the dog as the unconditional love. And if you've had dogs, or if you have interacted with dogs, you can see that there's those two kinds of dogs. One that will attack you and bite you and will be very territorial, or the one that will love you unconditionally, and you can go away for years and you come back and the dog will still love you as if you had never left. That's the unconditional love. So that should guide us during these 28 days when we're going to be closing the whole year of transformation. How am I going to die to that which no longer serves me? Through unconditional love, being loving to myself for the processes that I've been going through, and knowing that it gets better. and this too shall pass. And then we have here in the analog power, the Skywalker. And in this case, this is very interesting because I was talking about Quetzalcoatl earlier. So this is actually a very, very connected glyph to Quetzalcoatl. Although it's not the tone, this is tone 13, but still, what's going to help me? How am I going to transcend the reality of 3D so that I can bring down heaven to earth? How am I going to explore this possibility? And the antipode here is again the warrior. Stop fighting things, just let it go. What's the point of being right if you're going to be miserable? Stop trying to be right all the time. And then the occult power is the eagle, the blue magnetic eagle. So that means, again, what is your vision? What are your dreams? Come back to your dreams. That's what's being asked of us right now. So this is the energetic readout. So I'm going to talk really fast about the pulses of the new cycle, which I talked about in the past few years. So we've been jumping around from storm to storm to storm. These are the last 20 years. No, I'm sorry, 12 years. Why did I think 20? I don't know. I'm sorry. 12 years since the closing of the cycle. So we moved from the blue resonant storm that says, I channel in order to catalyze inspiring energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with a resonant tone of attunement. I am guided by the power of magic. So this is the energy that was asked of us, like, how am I going to inspire that change after the closing of the cycle? And then the next year that we had a storm was with the spectral tone. So these are challenging tones, as I was telling you, because we're moving from the resonant, the expansion, to the spectral, letting go, to the lunar, challenging, and to the rhythmic, which is balancing. So it's like, oh my God. So on this year, we were asked, I dissolve in order to catalyze releasing energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation. With a spectral tone of liberation, I am guided by my own power double. So in this year, check out what you were doing from 2016 to 2017, what was happening in the world and what was happening in your life. What challenges came to you that you had to let go and release, and probably very challenging years. And I remember from this year on, things just went crazy in the world. Nothing makes sense anymore. It's like, we're not in Kansas anymore. No? Dorothy, we're elsewhere. And then in 2020, as I said, we had the lunar tone. So I polarize in order to catalyze stabilizing energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the lunar tone of challenge. I am guided by the power of magic. So this is guided by the monkey, as is this year. So this year was when we were like, everybody was like safe space and safe distance and stay home, and all of these things that happened had to do with that. And we were forced to challenge everything we knew about reality, because we realized we don't need so many things to be happy. Things could be different. Nature was starting to renew itself. So this is very interesting what happened here. And then this year, we're going through these pulses of the storms. And then this year is like really taking the pooch, as they say in English, no? Taking like, this is like all of the pulses going from this year to this year to this year, and now here, balancing them all out. So I organize in order to catalyze balancing energy. I feel the matrix of self-generation with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by my own power double. So whatever we didn't resonate with here, whatever we didn't let go on this year, whatever we didn't challenge to release and let go on this year we're going to balance. So look at what was happening with you on these years, 2012, 2013, 2016, 2017, 2020, 2021, 2024, 2025 is what's going to happen now. So what is this bringing us to? This is a 12-year cycle. If I add a +1, that means 30 years, which is a wave spell. And that is going to bring us to the year 2025-26, the year of the yellow resonant seed. So why am I bringing this up? Because the wave spell of the yellow resonant seed is the wave spell of the blue lunar storm. So fractally, what if we didn't take care of stuff here, then the seeds that we want to plant for the next year, not going to be so good. But we still have this year to do that, to balance it out. So fractally, there is a resonance between what happened here, what was cleansed, and then what happens here. The way that I can explain this energy of the storm is, it's like, and this is an example that I have, like, I'm not very much into gardening. My father is. I'm learning to do that. And so we have compost here. We create compost here at the house. And so he has this little piece of the garden that he said, I'm going to make like a little orchard here. I'm going to plant some things for eating, And so he was preparing the earth. And then he brought in, the compost, and it stank. Oh my God, it was like, horrible, horrible smell. But it was super full of nutrients. And obviously the harvest from whatever he planted after that, the work of cleaning and putting in the compost, really good things came out of it. So what I'm trying to tell you with this is that all these pulses, of the storm, this is the compost getting ready, okay? That's gonna stink and it's like gonna be horrible, but it's a compost that is going to be, if we bring it to our little piece of land, and then we work with it and we move the earth, and then we bring in the compost, that's the energy of the storm, and then we put in the seeds on this year, good things are coming our way. So this is, and that's why a lot of people said, oh, nothing happened in the end of the world with the Mayan, and Arguelles was, he was lying, and a lot of people stopped following the synchronometer because of this. But I'm going to tell you something. The thing is, we thought it would be a change from one day to the next, or very short time. And no, we're talking about a whole wave spell of preparing the earth for the new seed of the new time. So rather than going back to the galactic seed, I would say this is the resonance seed that's going to start bringing the changes, because we're also seeing these astrological things happening that are going to empower that. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about what is being asked of us right now, especially in the past few days before we are gathering here and recording this. And what I would suggest is this: free yourself from the cybersphere and from artificial time. I think Arguelles wrote this. I'm not sure because I didn't put like where I got the quote from, and I added just a couple of things to make it more, because this was written before TikTok and all of that, no? So it says, terrified by what is happening, human beings will continue using the cybersphere to understand what is happening, to expose it, to show on YouTube and TikTok what they think about it, until the last possible moment. In this way, the last word will be pronounced in our current form of civilization. Post-industrial civilization will not end with an explosion, but with a post on Facebook and Instagram and a message on X on Twitter. So I think this is very funny because that's exactly what is happening. We are informing everything on the cybersphere that is happening. And then the big reset button will be pressed. How will it look? I don't know. I mean, we have a little taste already of that Pluto in Aquarius, which is showing the change, and so it is happening. Okay, Remy has to go. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Remy. I'm going to be finishing. I'm still going to take a few minutes, because we're going to do the meditation as well. Love you too. Thank you for being here. Because many of you are going to watch this in recording that I know of. So this is what's going to happen, or this is what is happening. So what I'm telling you right now is wake up, Neo. It's time to wake up. Like this just happened, and there was this conjunction, and you can look at it on the internet. There was this conjunction between Algol, a fixed star, that has to do with people losing their heads, and there was Uranus and Mars. So Uranus, as I said, brings sudden change, and Mars is the planet of battle and war and things moving. And so this attempt against Trump happened a day before, or not 2 days before this conjunction, but we could already feel that energy. And he was attacked in his head. And he actually has Mars, if you know about astrology, he has Mars in his mid sky. So like this is very interesting that this happened. Like whatever, we're not going to talk about what is behind that, what are the motivations? We don't care about it. That's not of our concern. I'm just talking about the synchronicity here. And also, there are reports that the Chinese president also had a stroke during these days. And there are some astrological things related to that. I would suggest you go and check out what Pam Gregory is saying about it. She's a great astrologer from the UK. So it's like, wake up, look at this. This is the energies that are connected astrologically, but also it's bringing a connection to the storm. This happened here in Mexico. This is Mexico City, let me tell you. There were a lot of floodings a couple of days ago. And look at where, like, how did this, and this is, how did this car end up here? The strength and the force of the storm and the waters brought it up there. I mean, I think that this is very well showing us the energies right now. So this is Uranus and this is Mars. So this is the conjunction, but Uranus can also be connected to the lightning, to the storm, technological failures as well, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. And like this is technology and communications, like in a higher octave from Mercury. And this is what just happened yesterday. I don't know if you heard about it, but lots of airports and grocery stores and banks, there was this failure with Microsoft and people got stranded. Like our dependency on technology has been so bad that then this happens. And I'm so happy that it didn't happen while I was traveling because I had to take a plane to La Paz. But I knew that it was risky because that conjunction was happening, but I had to do it. So can you look at the dependency on technology? And what Uranus is telling us is like sudden change, things unexpected, and also with Mars, it's like disruption of everything. Like these two are disrupting everything right now. And so as I was saying, no, like nature doesn't care about this. We as humans, we're so dependent on technology that this is happening. And also Uranus, as I said, because it's the planet that is ruling Aquarius and Pluto is there, and the storm is connected to Pluto, and Pluto is in Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and there was this conjunction just a few days before we begin the new galactic Mayan year. You think that's like it's just random? No, this is an important synchronicity to pay attention to. So I'm coming back to the Matrix, the movie, saying, "Wake up, Neo! The Matrix has you. Follow the white rabbit. Knock, knock, Neo." So I put this image. I'm sorry, this is the only one that I have of me with my white rabbit. So I'm just telling you, I am the white rabbit of synchronicity. Come follow me. And then become this empowered version that let's take the storm within us and use it to direct the change and to direct our healing and to get out of the matrix in the sense that I was telling you earlier. One foot in technology, one foot in time is money, but really vibrating and holding our energies from time is art, from nature, getting out of the matrix. So I would ask you, what do you choose? The controlling program of a calendar that is all skewed and imperfect, and time that is mechanized, that is vibrating upon the frequency of time is money, or do you want to go back to natural time? I'm just offering you, I'm not Morpheus, I am the rabbit. I am offering you, which pill do you want to take? And so this is how we are finishing our readout for the energies of this year. I know it's a little bit long, but I think it's worth it. And so I have a little extra thing for you. And obviously, those of you who are going to watch it later in the recording, you can also come back to this meditation. We're going to do a little meditation with the Lady of the Lake. I am taking this meditation from this book, which is called Arthurian Magic by John and Caitlin Matthews. I'm not going to put any music so that I have no issues with YouTube or anything, but just feel free to follow my voice and take it easy. So get comfortable now because we're going to do this little meditation with the Lady of the Lake. Just a few minutes. So I would advise you to get comfortable wherever you are, sitting down. You can also lie down if you want, and you can come back to the meditation as many times as you want. So let's take a deep breath. Connect with our here now. And we're going to do this meditation called the Tower of Glass. So here we go. And it says, close your eyes and enter a quiet place within you. From here, you may journey forth into the realm of the other world. See before you the rough, gnarled trunks of two great trees, between which you see the tangled waste of a mighty forest, a mixture of shadowed rides and sunlight clearings. Take it all in, experience it, and then go between the trees and walk ahead, letting your steps lead you where they will, until you hear distantly at first, but growing gradually stronger, the calling of birds. High and silvery, their voices penetrate deep within you, drawing you deeper and deeper into the forest. Gradually, the land on which you walk rises until you are climbing through the great bastions of the trees, clinging to root and branch to pull yourself along. Finally, you arrive at a level place and see before you a tall tower sparkling in the sunlight. This is no ordinary tower of stones and mortar. The sun reflects back from it in dazzling rays, for its walls are made of gleaming glass. For a moment you stand, bemused by the sight. Then you go forward towards an arched entrance leading within. Surprisingly, the interior of the tower is dim and the walls are opaque. Sunlight strikes through, but it's caught, filtered, and turned back again. Outside, all is brilliance and glittering light. Within is a cool, diffuse glow. A stairway leads upward, curving to the right around the softly glowing wall. You follow it up and up for a long time. At length, you find yourself in a circular room, the walls of which shimmer and seem at times translucent, at others opaque. In the center sits a figure at a loom, weaving. Her hair is long and black, her face pale. She wears a dress of many colors, which shift like a rainbow, showing now blue, now yellow, now red, now violet, and many subtle shades in between. The pattern of her weaving is beyond description, being all of light and color, and is ever shifting and changing. You see shapes there as you look, but they are gone before you are able to grasp their significance. Without pausing in the swift movement of shuttle and weft, the woman looks at you, scanning you with great power. Then, abruptly, she stands up, and though her hands are removed from the web and weft, the shuttle continues to move, even faster it seems. The lady beckons you to follow her to the side of the room, from where you look out through a window of clear glass in the fabric of the tower. Below, you see the forest spreading far into the distance. Now its mood is autumnal. The leaves turn to deepest bronze, and strong winds snatch them and drive them into the mounds on the forest floor. The Nimue, for she it is, raises her hand and opens a door in the tower before her. She walks through the door, and you follow in her wake, trusting yourself to her guidance. She moves more swiftly than you may have expected. Caught in her train, you are drawn after her out and up into the sky itself. There you see before you a second tower, like the first radiating light, but this time set amid points of starlight. Within the tower all is bright, as though the darkness without were compressed and turned back to form a border of light. Again, the stair leads you upwards, and you enter a room seemingly identical to the one in the earthly tower, yet there are two differences. Here the loom is still, and the woman clothed, almost completed, is stretched in its frame. Beside it, on a great bed, lies the figure of a man whose age is beyond calculation, and whose sleeping face is possessed of such beauty that you are breathless at sight. A suspicion as to the identity of the sleeper enters your mind, and you hear Nimue's voice in your ears. Yes, this is indeed Merlin who sleeps here until the time for his waking. It was not I who placed him here, nor is it I who keep him here. I am the guardian only, and when the time is right, I shall awake him again. Now Nimue moves to stand before the loom and bids you look upon her word. You hear her words, I am she who weaves all threads into a pattern that none may read save one, and that is my brother Merlin. Yet the weaving is almost finished, and because you come here with me, you may look upon the pattern and see one thing that you desire. Look well, for only once is this offer made. You look at the woven cloth, and there, in the pattern, so complex that your eyes cannot read it, is a single glowing picture. A scene, perhaps, or words that mean something to you alone. Look with care and remember what you see, for this opportunity may not come again. When you have looked and understood what is there for you to see, you follow the lady of the web once again to the door of the tower. Somehow, it is no longer set amid the starry night and the starry sky, but opens again onto the green wood where you began your journey. A few last words Nimue speaks to you. I am the keeper of wisdom, the best speller of night and day, the queen who rules over space and time in the world of wonders. Remember your journey and all that you learned. It is only part of the mystery of the night which you will come to know better. As her words ring in your ears, you walk forward and pass almost at once between the gnarled trunks of the two great trees. Your consciousness shifts, and you find yourself again in the place from which you began this journey. Take your time to awaken and write down anything you wish of your time in the Tower of Glass. Come back slowly to your here and now. Take a deep breath. Open your eyes, feel your body. Start moving a little bit. And so we have this beautiful meditation to come back to. And so this is how we end our adventure for today. If you have any questions, remember that you can contact me at Gmail. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. And remember, if you haven't still subscribed to my YouTube channel, it would help me a lot, and click on the little bell. I have a lot of content in English. I would be most grateful if you could help me share this information, and also what I do on Facebook, particularly YouTube, because um, like I'm not monetizing yet, so I need help to get there, because there are some ads in some of my videos and I'm not getting any income from that. So I would be very grateful to you so that I can keep on bringing free contents. And I thank you for trusting me to give this information to you. I hope that this upcoming year of the Blue Rhythmic Storm is very good for you, and that you have now this information that will be helpful for you to get into the new year with the best of your abilities and ready for the changes that it's bringing to us. So I want to thank you all. Send you many kisses, all my thanks, my gratitude for you being here. You know how to reach out to me. And so we'll see each other very soon. You know how to find me. And so thank you so much for everything that you bring into my life, and hope that this is very, very, very helpful for you. So thank you, and I will see you around. Many hugs and kisses, my synchronauts. Until next time, bye.